Let the Kitsune guide you!
Okay, so we've got a new Overwatch 2 developer blog, post-launch updates on the gameplay maps and competitive. This is quite lengthy, so I figured I would do this for those that prefer not to read, and hopefully this works out for you and me. So since the launch of Overwatch 2, we've welcomed millions of both new and returning heroes to the game. While most of our updates so far have been about our efforts to address game servers and stability, we also know players are eager to hear about what we are working on for gameplay and other topics. We've seen Sojourn, Junker Queen, and Kiriko completely rock the landscape of the game, blasting and slicing their way into many victories on the battlefield. Today we want to look back at the first week of this brand new chapter for Overwatch and share with you our team's current thinking on the hero balance of the gameplay. For the hero balance, while some heroes are performing better than others and there are differences across players' skill levels, we have been happy to see that there's no hero's overall power level that is far out of the line with our goals. Every hero on the roster has a win rate between 45% and 55%, and we are not planning any immediate balance changes based on what we are seeing, with the exception of a targeted adjustment to Zarya in Total Mayhem, which should go live with our next major patch on October 25th. Instead, our team is planning to make a series of balance changes for Season 2 that are in line with our design goals of ensuring the overall game feels balanced and fair while giving each season a more distinct identity. While we'll continue looking at a hero performance and listening to player feedback prior to finalizing any specific changes to balance for the Season 2, we want to share more about what we're seeing so far. So tanks fighting on the front line. Since shifting to 5v5 format, we see many players focusing more on the tank role given the heightened importance of a single tank in role queue modes. One of the most talked about heroes on the roster right now is Diva. With her buffs after the last beta to her defense matrix and micro missiles, she can put up a fight longer than she could before the launch of Overwatch 2. Despite many players saying she's one of the best tanks in the game, Reinhardt, Sigma, and Zarya are actually performing in the lead up of the competition with an average of 53% unmirrored win rate. Zarya's new ability to choose where to place each of her two particular barriers often allows her to build up a high energy quickly, which is something we're currently keeping a close eye on for potential changes next season. Junker Queen was a dominant force during the last beta playtest. Because of that, we applied changes to her commanding shout to reduce how dominant the brawly Death Ball team compositions were at the highest skill levels, including the Overwatch League Summer Showdown. We'll keep an eye on her performance in upcoming weeks to ensure she's an effective tank and fun to play. And personally, I think she's awesome. Where they were saying that they were going to debuff her, they were going to nerf her, there's the word I'm looking for, and I still have a blast with her. I still have fun. Orisa is definitely aggressive as hell, but I have so much more fun playing Odessa. She's just fantastic, more my style, and I do wish honestly that her shotgun was more like a crossbow, so she stayed away from the firearms part of it completely, but that's me. Other than that, I love playing her. She's just fun. All of her abilities are just fun to do, whether you win or lose. She's just fun to play with. Okay, the team is also monitoring Doomfist performance and play rate compared to other tanks. As we look in Season 2, we think it makes sense to evaluate his overall tanking ability and potential making improvements to the power block and meteor strike. So it looks like Doomfist is probably getting some buffs in Season 2. So we'll see how that goes for everybody. I definitely haven't seen him overpowered, but I haven't seen him being underwhelming. But I guess I don't see him too often in games either. So we'll see if that changes more once I get into comp. I'm kind of waiting for them to change on servers, fix their servers, which brings us to the slicing through the competition. The damage role has seen many hero combinations across all ranks, but we've noticed some popular picks amongst our players. Genji and Sojourn started as the most popular heroes when Overwatch 2 launched, but they've since leveled out with the rest of the damage roster. Genji started off with a dominating win rate, and although it's lowered slightly since launch, currently at 52%, we want to make sure he's not dominating the playing field. And we'll watch Genji carefully throughout the seasons to ensure he doesn't slice up the competition too much, and may make some adjustments in Season 2. One way we are considering doing this is an adjustment to the damage roll passive, which particularly benefited heroes like Genji. And honestly, Genji's probably the one who got it the most, so they need to be nerfing Genji and just keep the passive the way it is. They can't, to nerf Genji, they shouldn't be nerfing everybody else too. That's still gonna leave Genji dominant on the field. That doesn't make any sense to me. Sombra is also hacking her way through the back lines in many games. We adjusted her damage potential to be optimal on targets that she hacked. However, we want to ensure that her targets have a reasonable time to fight back. So we'll continue to look to balance her hackability lockout duration when we approach Season 2. We've also heard feedback that tanks feel oppressed when Sombra is focusing them with hacks, which will also be something we'll look to control next season. So for right now, you're screwed if Sombra's in the game, I guess. I don't know. I've never seen her having any issues with, like, even when I'm tanking, if a Sombra's hacking me, most tanks they're brawlers. They're, you know, they can still take out Sombra real easy. You lose a few abilities here and there, but I haven't seen an issue personally. Symmetra and Torb are two of the other damage heroes we're keeping a close eye on now. Over the course of the week, their win rates have been gradually increasing, and they are showing the highest win rates now at some ranks. Of course, you add an extra, you know, the turrets add an extra 1 to 3 players on the field, so that's kind of always been an issue for me. I've never liked the aim bots of this game. Let's see. So both heroes can be effective counters to Genji and may be enjoying their success due to his popularity. When we look at potentially making changes to them, we need to keep in mind that the landscape of the rest of the hero roster, for example, if Genji is tweaked and possibly played less, these heroes might see less success and not need adjustments themselves. Sly as a fox, Kiriko has been well received by the community with an initial play rate of 75% in most matches when we first launched, making her an instant favorite amongst the players. This play rate has since balanced out compared to the other support heroes. However, her win rate increased from 48% to 52% as players learned her kit and playstyle over the past week. Her healing averages in the middle where you compare it to the rest of the support roster, and her damage output is actually about even with Ana, which is relatively low compared to heroes like Lucio, Moira, and Brigitte. Kiriko gets a lot of her value in her evasiveness with the wall climb and swift step to get out of harm's way, allowing her to stay alive longer in team fights and making her the most survivable support hero on the roster currently. We're keeping an eye on how she performs in the weeks ahead of the Overwatch League playoffs next month, which I'm actually really glad to hear that her play rate was high, but to where her win rate is still even with everybody else. I'm so glad that it doesn't look like they're going to be tweaking her at all, because it takes skill to get the two headshots off. Her healing is obviously, it's from what they're saying, overall it's just mediocre with everybody else. It's right in the middle. And she's not over damaging, she's not out damaging, she's not even in the top 3. Lucio, Moira, and Brigitte have that. So I am so glad to hear that Kiriko is not getting any changes that they're looking at right now, because she's my main support. I got Odessa as my main tank, and Hanzo will still remain my main DPS. This part I do not like, but I do in a way. So, missions around the world. With the new and returning maps based on the locations worldwide, we want each season of Overwatch 2 to feel refreshing and exciting for new players and returning players. To support that, the goal also to allows our teams, when we think it's appropriate, to make adjustments to our maps. We have begun to run a map pool featuring all new locations and many original maps for Season 1. We're playing on the following maps for both quick and competitive play. So for Control, we have Ilios with evening lighting, Lijiang Tower, dawning lighting, Oasis, night lighting. We'll just skip the lighting part. Nepal, morning, Busan, night. For our escorts, we've got Circle Royale at night, Dorado in the evening, Route 66 at night, Gibraltar in the morning, and Junkertown in the morning. With the hybrid maps, we have Midtown morning, Kings Row evening, if I can pronounce this right, Eichenwald evening, Hollywood morning, and Parisio morning. For our push maps, which I love these maps. I've seen so many people that hate them, or like they hate Coliseo or Esperanza, whatever, but these maps are my favorite. So you have New Queen Street with the morning light, Coliseo with the evening light, and Esperanza with the morning light. We're skipping the lights, but I guess not. So each subsequent season, we will rotate some of the maps out of the pool and bring back others that have been previously out of rotation. That part I don't like. I don't like not having access to all the maps. They've already removed maps from Overwatch 1 because of the 2CP, and I like those maps. I know apparently a lot of people did not. I enjoyed them, and hopefully they bring them back for 5v5 and figure out a way to make it work, because it does look like they're making map changes. So as they continue to rotate maps in and out, we'll be looking to improve and tweak them. So for example, Rialto will return in Season 2, and players will notice a few spots where they've actually added additional cover, which should help with the map play better for 5v5 environment with reduced shields. For players who want them to play maps not currently in the map rotation, hop into a custom game or an occasional arcade mode. I didn't read that part before, or I skipped it. So apparently some of the maps will still be in arcade mode, which I like. I don't like when they take everything out. And so, but I do like that they aren't just rotating them out so we lose them. They are actually adding to them. They are making them more Overwatch 2, the expansion, compatible. So it's 5v5 since 6v6 is no longer there. Shields do not dominate anymore. While climbing the ranks, their team apologizes for ranking many players too low during the first week of Overwatch 2. They discovered a bug that was impacting player skill ratings, which is what contributed to many players being placed in Bronze 5 when they should have been placed higher. Which, if I remember right, Bronze 5 is the lowest, is it not? Because doesn't it go to Bronze 1, like it counts down? If I remember the way the placements, I haven't done my placements yet because I'm waiting till this shit's fixed. So it looks like even our Grandmasters are just dropped clear down, which is messed up. I'm so glad that I haven't done anything yet. So their most recent patch included a fix that will actually help you get back to your true rank quickly, and that will be reflected the next time you receive a competitive ranking update. You will receive a boost as you continue playing to help to get to your correct ranks. Players who have yet placed in competitive won't experience the issue after the fix goes live. So that's another reason I wouldn't want to be jumping into competitive right now, because even though the fix just went through, whatever they did, and that's if they fixed it. So if you jump in and you're a bronze player normally, or even gold, and you got grandmasters that you're playing up against, you're gonna get placed real low just because they got placed low in the first, in the beginning. So if we give it a little bit, wait for them to hopefully get back to their true ranks, then us on the lower end, because I know definitely my support is in the bronze. I'm curious to see where it's going to be with Kariko. My tanking was in the silver, but that's probably going to change now that I'll be doing Odessa. And I finally made it even into the gold with Hanzo, but that was in open queue. And so I think I was still just as a silver, so I would get my ass whooped when it comes to having probably high gold and anything above in competitive. So they're also watching feedback about how we present your skill tier and division, and how you are to celebrate that in game. While we don't have any details we can share yet, expect us to make more improvements to competitive, and we will continue to watch your feedback. They wanted to thank you for week 1, and here's to many more. Finally, we want to ensure the games play out fairly for all the players in all the matches. In a future patch, we'll fix an issue that could cause some rubber banding in game. We also want to be certain that hit registration for shots fired is working pixel perfectly. We have investigated reports from players about hit registration, and many reports are actually related to how our replay tool works, which does not perfectly capture the alignment of each player's aim. And importantly, for hit scans, hero players have been looking at where their crosshair was at the moment they fired, instead of trying to follow the bullet trail, which can also be covered by muzzle flash effects. Because yeah, I've noticed myself, I've died behind walls, but then you watch the replay and they got you way before you made it behind cover. And you're like, okay. There are also misconceptions about how our controlling settings on PC work, which does not affect mouse input. As example, aim smoothing under gamepad does not impact mouse input latency or precision. However, in one report, we discovered a bug that affecting the hitbox alignment of our rendered objects for Junker Queen in some specific situations, and we're working diligently to fix this issue. We also understand that some PC players have concerns with input responsiveness and recommend trying out these changes to improve how quickly the game responds to the player's input. You can make sure your in-game resolution setting matches your actual monitor setting. Do not set it higher, because you set it like mine can go higher, and I don't. I keep mine at 1920 by 1080. Going higher, I saw issues with that in Overwatch 1, so yeah, I wouldn't doubt that it would cause massive issues in Overwatch 2. Set the capped frame rate to the value that match your monitor's max frame rate. And I've seen it so many places. They'll tell you, yeah, just go to 300. Mine maxes at 240. So why would I want to push my system to try to be reaching 300 when when the frame or the monitor itself can only reach 240? My system might be able to reach 300. My monitor can't. So no point. It says if you have an NVIDIA graphics card, turn on the NVIDIA Reflex plus the boost, not just the Reflex. Otherwise, turn on reduced buffering for other GPUs. Finally, in your gameplay options, turn on enable high precision mouse input speed to speed up how frequently your mouse captures position in game. So the other issue is with this high precision mouse, it was actually always turned off in Overwatch 1. I don't remember how it was in number 2 because I've always had mine on. So when firing down something, your mouse will click to these 5 points with it turned off. And so if an enemy's here, you can't actually click on them. So when you fire, you will miss if they are standing between these lines, because you can't, your mouse won't, your aim, your cursor, whatever, it won't register it. So with that high precision on, it actually doubles it up, or triple. I think it just doubles, I'm not sure. But now you actually have more points to be focusing to. So you want that on. Either way, no matter how your game's playing, always leave that high precision mouse on. It says thank you to all the players who were part of the first week of Overwatch 2. While this time has been incredibly exciting for the community and our team, it's also come back with many challenges that we're looking to address quickly. We will continue to listen to our player feedback, and we strive to make Overwatch 2 the best game it can be. And we are looking forward to sharing more in the upcoming weeks leading up to Season 2. In the meantime, we hope everyone is having a blast in the game, and we will talk again soon. Yeah, we're having a blast when we can get into the game. So this is their current dev update. I kind of wish I had gotten the other ones as well, but hopefully this helps you understand what they're doing, what they're planning on, and I guess we will see where they go from here. So thanks for tuning in and sticking around, and I will see you on the next one.
Let the Kitsune guide you!